Isaac Hopper stands as a testament to the power of conviction, humanitarianism, and activism in early American history. A Quaker by birth, he became a relentless advocate for the abolition of slavery, using his influence to protect and rescue thousands of fugitive slaves and free blacks from the threat of being captured and sold into servitude. Later in his life, he channeled that same passion into prison reform, advocating for more humane treatment of prisoners in New York. His legacy is not only found in the institutions he helped establish, but also in the generations of activists he inspired, including members of his own family. Hopper was born to a Quaker family in Deptford Township, New Jersey, in 1771. In 1795, he married Sarah Tatem Hopper, and they had 10 children. One of their daughters, Abigail Hopper Gibbons, became a famous abolitionist. Their grandson, Dulph Hopper, was also well known. Hopper followed the teachings of Elias Hicks and became a Hicksite Quaker. In 1827, he and his family joined the Dobby Friends meeting. After the American Revolutionary War, Pennsylvania ended slavery before the 1800s. This made the state, particularly the city of Philadelphia, a haven for escaped slaves from the South. However, before the American Civil War, Philadelphia became a hot spot for slave catchers. They often targeted free black children to sell as slaves and hunted escapees to take back for rewards. Hopper managed to rescue about 3,300 slaves. Hopper was a prominent figure in the Pennsylvania Abolition Society, which worked hard to safeguard African American rights and end slavery in the U.S. Over time, people in Philadelphia recognized him as a trusted ally and consultant for the black community. Hopper supervised the Negro School for Children, started by early abolitionist Anthony Benezet before the Revolutionary War, and which functioned into the 19th century. Additionally, Hopper volunteered as a teacher at a school for black adults. Hopper co-founded and served as the secretary for an organization aimed at employing the needy. He volunteered as a prison inspector, joined a fire brigade, and looked out for mistreated apprentices. Despite having a big family and limited means, he and his wife often welcomed less fortunate Quakers into their home. Their children grew up learning the value of helping others. Additionally, Hopper was actively involved in handling various matters for the Quaker community. In 1829, Hopper relocated his family to New York to manage a bookstore set up by the Hicksite Quakers. The following year, in 1830, he traveled to Ireland for matters related to his wife's property and also made a trip to England. Initially, the traditional Quakers in both countries regarded him with skepticism, labeling him as a troublemaker from America. However, Hopper's warm and pleasant nature eventually won them over and changed their initial perceptions. By early 1841, there was a noticeable drop in the demand for Hicksite publications. Around that time, Hopper took on roles as the treasurer and a representative for book sales at the American Anti-Slavery Society in New York. New York City's East Village stands the Isaac T. Hopper Home, associated with the Women's Prison Association. In 1845, Hopper left his positions at the Anti-Slavery Society to dedicate himself to the Prison Association of New York, advocating for improvements in the prison system and justice processes. His daughter, Abigail Hopper Gibbons, who had settled in New York as well, established the Women's Prison Association, focusing on prison reforms. Additionally, she set up a shelter for released women inmates to ease their transition back into society, naming it the Isaac T. Hopper Home in honor of her father. Hopper often traveled to Albany, the capital of New York, to speak on behalf of the association before the state's lawmakers. Many remarked on his compelling style of speaking. Judge Edmonds once observed that Hopper's words were straightforward and impactful. Whether he cracked a joke, spoke seriously, or evoked emotions, he had the ability to deeply resonate with his listeners. His advocacy was so trusted that Governor John Young of New York once told him he'd release any prisoner if Hopper believed they deserved a pardon. Hopper died in New York City on May 7, 1852. Isaac T. Hopper's life and contributions to society encapsulate the spirit of advocacy and commitment to justice that marked the abolitionist and prison reform movements of the 19th century. His unwavering dedication to the causes he believed in, combined with his tireless efforts, made him a beacon of hope for countless individuals, both free and enslaved. Today, as we reflect on his legacy, we are reminded of the indomitable spirit of individuals like Hopper who, despite the odds, chose to stand up for what was right and left an indelible mark on the course of American history.